guys? It's July 24th, 2024. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. Today I want to talk about something that I think probably most of us can relate to, and that is the hiding of the booze. And how after we stop drinking, we don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm sure that there's a lot of you out there who are watching this who are going to be able to relate to exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. And I've done a video about this in the past, but you know, this channel is growing like amazingly fast now. It hit 7,000 subscribers at the beginning of this month, and I just checked just a minute ago, right before I started filming, and we're at 8,500 subscribers as of today, which is just mind-blowing how fast this channel is growing. So I want to thank everybody who's subscribed lately. I greatly appreciate it, and welcome to the channel. This is a great community of people here. Everyone here is so nice and kind, and you know, please feel free to share anything in the comments section. You know, the only thing I ask is that everybody stay nice to each other, kind to each other, and you know, no one gives anybody a hard time. That's all I ask for. Which I haven't really run across anything recently anyway, but you know, that's all I ask, is that everybody's nice to each other. But what I want to talk about today is that, like I said, is that how we don't have to worry about hiding booze anymore after we stop drinking. Because it's something that I did for a very long time. I hid alcohol everywhere. I always had a bottle somewhere, whether it be in a water bottle or in a flask, or I had bottles stashed away somewhere. No matter what it is, it was just I was constantly trying to hide bottles around. And you know, that feeling of anxiety, especially in the morning after I would have hidden the bottle the night before, and when I would wake up and I couldn't find it, because, you know, I would often resort to the same hiding places, and I don't know what I was thinking, but it wasn't very smart, because I kept using the same places over and over again, and my wife would go straight to them and find my bottle and pour it out, and you know, I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously I wasn't, because I was intoxicated when I would put it away. But you know, that feeling of waking up the next morning and going, oh my gosh, where did I put my bottle? And that like, you're going through everything. You're pulling every single drawer out, digging through all the clothes. You're looking on top of every single cabinet in your house. You're digging, you know, you're everywhere looking for that bottle. And that feeling of relief that you would get when you would finally run across it and go, okay, now I have my bottle. I remember back in the day, you know, there were nights where I would, you know, be intoxicated, and I would come up with this great hiding place, and then I totally forgot where I'd put it that night. And the next morning I would wake up, and it would be this, you know, this rat race of looking for my bottle, because I needed a drink, and I had the shakes, and I was about to panic, and I would be pulling things out and just throwing it all over the floor. I mean, yanking clothes out of drawers and just throwing them on the floor just so I could find it. And I would literally be in a panic looking for my bottle until I would find it. And you know, I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have to worry about did I leave a bottle somewhere and somebody's gonna run across it. You know, there were so many times I had bottles hidden and everywhere, and still to this day I'm still running across stuff. I made a video a few months ago. I was up underneath my house, and there was a bottle up underneath there that was that had liquor in it, and I had to pour it out and throw it away. I've come across stuff a bunch of times. My wife has found stuff off in the woods. I used to come home from work, and I would take my bottle out of my vehicle, and I would walk into the woods and pick up pine straw and place my bottle behind a tree so that my wife couldn't find it. I would hide liquor underneath the spare tire, up underneath the seat of my vehicle. I would have a water bottle or two or three filled with liquor and stashed in different places. When I would wake up in the morning for work, I had a ritual every single day. I would keep the little mini bottle shooters, and I would wash those out really well. And before I would leave to go to work every morning, I would fill up like 5 or 6 of those with liquor, and I would have them with me so that I could put one in my sock or one in my pocket or whatever, so that I would have something to drink, and especially after I'd gotten back home in the afternoon. I would have liquor stashed all over the place so that if I needed a shot, I could go grab one from here or from there. Just thinking back on all the stuff that I did in order to hide my consumption, I mean, it was just ridiculous. I've talked about this on here before too. There was a period where I had tried to stop drinking, and I started drinking non-alcoholic beers. This is one of the reasons why I would never touch a non-alcoholic beer, is because I started drinking non-alcoholic beers, and my wife had gotten really excited about the fact that I had switched over drinking non-alcoholic beers, and that I was actually being successful doing that. And I actually did it for a few days, but what she didn't realize is that I was taking the non-alcoholic beers at one point and pouring them out, and then I was buying regular beer and pouring it back into the bottle. So I'm walking around the house drinking out of a non-alcoholic beer bottle, pretending like it's non-alcoholic beer when it really wasn't. It was real beer that was in that bottle. But I did things like that all the time. I mean, I can sit here and like talk about this probably for hours about all the stuff that I pulled. I would take Sprite bottles. I would go buy Sprite and like the little 20-ounce bottle, and I would pour out like all the way down, maybe like 25-30% of it left, and I would fill the rest of it up with vodka, and I would carry that around. Or Gatorade bottles, I would do the same thing, because Gatorade already has kind of a light color to it. So I would pour out most of the Gatorade or drink most of it, and then fill it up the rest of the way with vodka, shake it up, and walk around and act like I was drinking Gatorade. If I went anywhere, I always had a tumbler with me, and it had a mixed drink in it. Or I would stop by the gas station and buy one of those one of those fountain drink cups and get ice, and I would mix my drink in that and walk around with one of those drinks like I was drinking soda pop or something like that. Just going back and thinking about all the crazy stuff that I did when I was a drinker, trying to conceal my drinking, because I drank in public all the time. If my wife and I went to a restaurant, I would go into that restaurant with mini bottles on me and then get up and use the restroom and take shots in the bathroom and then come back to the table. I'm not kidding. I'm being dead serious. I remember one time we went on this little cruise thing on the river for my work, and we were gonna be drinking on the boat. It was like a Christmas kind of getaway thing that we were doing, like a Christmas party kind of a deal. And leading up to going onto that boat, I took like 12 mini bottles with me because I didn't know if we were going to be able to drink liquor. And I kept getting up and going back to the bathroom and taking shots of liquor and throwing them in the trash can. And then I was taking toilet paper and balling it up and then putting it on top of the mini bottles so that no one could see that there were mini bottles in the trash can. Just things like that, just all the time. It was just never ending. I was constantly trying to figure out ways to sneak in my stash or hide my bottle or whatever it was. I snuck into places sometimes. I would take Ziploc bags and put liquor in it and roll it up and stick it down my pants so that I could get into places that I knew that they might look at me or search me before I walked in. What was I thinking? I guess I really wasn't, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things that we don't have to worry about anymore, is the constant hiding, the constant feeling of anxiety the next day when we hit our stash the night before and we can't find it again because we were so intoxicated when we put it away. I've talked about this before, but there's a guy here on YouTube, that guy Scott Frieda. He does those, interpretations of trying to drink vodka in the morning and dry heaving as he does it. But he also does a bunch of videos of hiding liquor and hiding liquor in plain sight and stuff like that. And when I watch those types of videos, it triggers me because I'm I used to do stuff like that. I remember one time he had a jar and it had some pickles in it, and he had poured out majority of the pickle juice and then filled it up with vodka and still had the pickles floating around and was pretending like it was just pickles. I did that before. I had a jar in the refrigerator with pickle juice and pickles floating around with it, but it was mainly just vodka, but it looked like it was just pickles. And I was the type of person that would drink pickle juice back in the day, and so I was pretending like I was drinking pickle juice, but I was just opening up the jar of pickles and drinking vodka out of it. I did stuff like this all the time. It was just non-stop. And thinking back on just, I couldn't go anywhere without alcohol with me. I mean, anywhere I went. I've talked about this. I went to Disney World. I snuck in vodka into Disney World and got drunk at Disney World. Honestly, I can't think of a place that I ever went that I didn't sneak alcohol with me. I really can't. I just can't think of anywhere that I ever went that I did not have booze with me. If I didn't have it directly on my person, you better know it was in my vehicle and it was only a few steps away. There was always a cooler in my car with ice and beer and liquor in there. I mean, just everywhere I went, I had to have liquor with me. God forbid that I went somewhere and wasn't able to drink. And just thinking back on all the times that I would, especially after I left my job and started my business and going to those jobs, I remember sitting in my vehicle in the morning. I would pull up to a job. Let's say I told them that I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock to get started. I would pull up to the job and sit in my car after I'd gotten there and drink a couple drinks before I would get started for the day. I wonder what they were thinking I was out there doing in my vehicle. And then I would keep taking breaks. I would go to my car and act like I was getting something to drink when I was drinking booze. I would get my tumbler. I always had to have a tumbler with me because I could conceal whatever I needed to in it. And I'd go to my car, pour a drink in there, and then be walking around drinking beer like it was no big deal. I mean, it was just all the time. I never could go anywhere without alcohol with me. It even got to the point to where... I'm not going to say who got this for me, but I had somebody very close to me buy me some of these little sleeves that you could slide your beer cans into, and it would make it look like it was a Coke can or like a Mountain Dew can. I'm not joking. And I would do that. I would go all kinds of places with those little things. When you would slide the beer can in there, it looked exactly like you were holding a Coke can. And I would walk around in public drinking this like it was no big deal. I thought that I was so slick, and I thought I was so cool and so smart with what I was doing. And looking back on it now, I was not. I looked like an idiot, but that's just what I was doing. And that just shows, when we get so deep into our addiction, that we are willing to basically do just about anything to continue to be able to consume and to continue to drink. And when we stop drinking, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We don't have to worry about hiding booze anymore. We don't have to worry about how we're going to get that bottle anymore. The anxiety that comes along in the morning when you realize that your bank accounts, you don't have any money in your bank, and that bottle that you had from the night before only has that much in it, and you just poured yourself a drink, and that's all you had, and you've got to drink some more for that day. And that anxiety of feeling of, how am I going to get my bottle today? And flipping all the couch cushions and trying to find quarters and dimes and nickels and pennies and all that kind of stuff. Just the constant scheming that goes on trying to acquire our next bottle. I used to have to do that all the time. I've spoken about this. My wife and I had a joint account. I could not just go to the liquor store and swipe my card. Now, I'll be completely honest with you guys. When worst came to worst, and I knew that there was no other way around it, and I had to have that bottle for that day, and there was no other way for me to get my bottle, I would use our joint account, and I would just suffer the consequences later. I was like, whatever. I mean, I don't have any option. This is what I have to do. I'm going to have to do this in order to get my bottle. I would just go do it. And my wife would come home and say, I saw that you went to the liquor store. Or I would get a phone call, say, I saw you just went to the liquor store. And I would just deal with it. It was like, whatever. But majority of the time, I tried to hide it. My paychecks went right into our bank account. And, I just could not use my card in order to go to the store. So I would have to come up with means in order to get by without my wife knowing what I was doing. And I came up with all kinds of schemes and plans. I mean, so many. I did so many different things. And I wasn't ever stealing from anybody or anything like that. So don't think that's what I was doing, because I wasn't. But I was doing everything else. Like I said, counting change, going to the Coinstar machine, because the liquor store said they didn't take change anymore. So I'd have to go to the Coinstar machine, which was all the way on the other side of town. So I'd have to drive all the way over here to use the Coinstar machine. After I'd counted up through all the change I had, I had to get to a certain amount, which I'd have to dig through the whole entire house to find the right amount of change, and then drive to the Coinstar machine, to get that change turned into dollar bills and then drive to the liquor store. And depending on which liquor store I had just gone to, you know, I had to keep my liquor stores in rotation. So I had to go to this particular liquor store, which is on the other side of town. Just thinking about that. I remember one time I was here at this house, and it was during the summertime, and I had all 3 of my children home that day. And I asked my daughter, I said, can you watch the boys? I need to run to the store real fast. And my daughter said, yeah. And I had drank super heavy the night before and had like really, really, really bad anxiety. And I had to take back roads to get to the liquor store. And I would get on Google Maps and would try to find liquor stores that were on back roads so that I wouldn't have to get on the main road. And I found this liquor store that was like way out in the middle of the country. And I had to drive all the way around. I mean, it took me like an hour to get to the liquor store and get back home because I had to take all these different back roads because my anxiety level was so high from the anxiety from the night before. Knowing that I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff anymore, it's just such a sigh of relief. I mean, it really is. You know, when we don't drink anymore and we finally remove it from our life, we don't have to worry about all those stresses and those hassles and that anxiety of that anymore. And the constant feeling of shame and guilt that we have as we're sliding that, you know, those shooters into our sock or in our pocket, or as we excuse ourselves for the 4th time at dinner to go into the bathroom to take another swig out of our flask. We don't have to worry about doing that anymore. So guys, the point of today's video is that when we finally do remove the alcohol from our life, everything in our life starts to improve. And this is just another one of those things that we do not have to worry about anymore. No more hiding, no more lying, no more guilt, no more shame. You can live your life like a normal human being. And life on this side is just so much better. It really, really is. For all you guys that are continuing to hang on, even though the cravings are still building up and you're struggling, kudos to you, and my hat's off to you for continuing to hang in there and fight. Because it's a daily fight, a daily struggle. And the saying, one day at a time, definitely applies to this. Because that's all we have is today, the present, this moment. And if you're living in this moment, in this day, and you're not drinking for today, congratulations. I'm proud of you. And you're doing great. Just hang in there. The day's almost over. And after the day's over with, you can go to bed and close your eyes and tell yourself, I didn't drink again today. And then you can wake up tomorrow morning, and tomorrow morning you can tell yourself, I'm not going to drink today. And that's it. Just think about today. Don't worry about the future. You don't ever have to think that far. And don't worry about the past, because that's already gone. All you have is today. You're doing great. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. I truly do appreciate it. And you guys are all doing awesome. I see so many people on here every single day that are, 6 months, 8 months, 3.5 years, 5 years, 20 years. So many people that are, getting there on their sober journeys. And no matter where you're at in your journey, if it's 1 day or 20 years, it doesn't matter. It's all a struggle. And, as time goes on, it gets better. It gets easier. But my hat's off to you, and congratulations to everybody that's on their sobriety journey. I'm so proud of each and every single one of you. And I want to thank each and every single one of you for being here. I really do appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much every single one of you actually really do mean to me. I can't tell you in words how much every single one of you really do mean. And with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. I greatly appreciate you watching, and until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Have a great day. Bye.